Hello, happy Wednesday, everyone. I can't believe it is already Wednesday and feels like tomorrow should be Friday, but hang in there. It's not quite Friday yet, but it is Wednesday, which means I will come on tonight and give you one of my topics today. So if you are new to following my page or um, not sure who I am. I just want to introduce myself real quick. So my name is Kayla Slater. I am a registered dietitian and I am a plant-based online nutrition and running coach. So today what I really want to focus on is talking about our health and the way you feel. So the clients that I've been working with, I've noticed that a lot of them have been coming to me not just for plant-based performance nutrition, but also because they're just not happy with the way they feel, or they just want to live a more plant-based lifestyle, or they just want to be healthier, right? So I want to give you guys some tips on this and talk a little bit more about that. So first off, I think it's really important, when you whether you want to lose weight or whether you are looking to wanting to perform better in a race, as an athlete in a sport, whatever that is. I think it's important to focus more on less focus on our weight and our food and the way we feel. So I noticed, whether you are an athlete or not an athlete, or maybe you're just trying to be more active, I've noticed that a lot of times we focus so much on maybe losing weight or focusing on, food and what we're eating, thinking that we need to track calories and macros and all this, that, we almost get too wrapped up in it all, that we don't it gets too overwhelming, right? And it's too much for you to do. So what I really want to talk about today is giving you tips and how you can do this. How can you focus more on your general health, and whether that's just physically or also mentally and spiritually, right? Because I also believe that's important, and that also is a part of wellness, and why I call these Wednesdays Wellness Wednesdays too, because I really do believe in our overall well-being, as in wellness and not just nutrition, even though of course that is my expertise is in nutrition. So but I do believe that it comes from, we need to make sure that we focus on all those other aspects of our wellness and our health and our well-being too. But I also want to give you some tips on how you can do this. How can you focus more on the way you feel and less about worried about eating enough calories, or eating too many carbs, or not eating enough protein, and all these other things that we worry about day-to-day life, or worrying about losing weight and that type of thing. So here we go. So here are my tips. So number one, moving your body in ways that you enjoy. So I know a lot of you are probably runners. So you like to run, right? I hope. So the runners that I want to speak to, right, are maybe those runners that may run, but they don't run for the fun of it. They don't enjoy it. Okay, so this is who I'm really speaking to, because I think it's important that we move our bodies, not just because it's good for us, but because we enjoy it. So find a sport, find something that you like to do, whether that's hiking, whether that's running, whether that's walking, whether it's biking, whatever it is, find a sport that you like. I've been, injured, so I've been thinking about actually doing a triathlon. So I have done one triathlon, but I mostly just run. So I've done a lot of 5Ks, a lot of 10Ks, a lot of half marathons. I can't even tell you how many. I would say probably over 10 half marathons. And I love to race. That is my thing, right? That is something that I've realized that I enjoy, and that's social for me, right? And so being social is also part of wellness, right? So I found just running, those are how I meet friends. Those are how, you know, this is what I enjoy and what I like to do, right? But, it doesn't have to be running if you're not someone that doesn't like running, right? Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's walking. Maybe it's, trying to do a triathlon and signing up for a triathlon and meeting new friends to train and things like that to do that. So I just encourage you to just try new things that you might not know you like to do. Actually, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and I believe she's an MMA fighter. Hopefully I said that right. And she was talking about how she tried this class. I think it's called Orange Theory. So have any of you heard of Orange Theory? If you're on, let me know if you've ever heard of Orange Theory. No? Okay. So if you are on, by the way, let me know you're on. #live, or if you are watching the replay, just reply below #replay. So Orange Theory, it's something I've never tried, but she's talking about how something new is different. It was a different style of working out than she ever did. And she said it was just super exciting. It was new. It was just something she really enjoyed. And I thought, wow, like that is so cool, because I have found now that I'm not running as much. Hey, now that I'm not running as much, that I've been trying to think about different ways that I can move my body. And I've actually been getting into swimming a lot. And this is really surprising because I never really thought I was that good of a swimmer. But the more I've done it and the more I practice, the more I've gotten better at it. But not just gotten better at it, but I've also realized I actually enjoy it, because it's also, I've found that it's meditative to me. So for a while I was doing a lot of yoga. I've been doing not a lot of yoga lately, which I should be, because it's probably the best thing that I honestly could do right now for my foot, is it's healing, but also swimming, right? Because that doesn't use a lot of impact on my foot. So I found swimming was the best thing I can do for my cardio. But I also noticed that I actually enjoyed it. At first, I thought this was horrible, but I noticed now that I'm swimming longer and longer, and I don't even want to get out of the pool. I even compete with myself, because I do have that competitive spirit. So maybe you don't have a competitive spirit, and that's okay. But I think it's good to even compete with yourself, as in, have a goal, and then maybe next week have another goal. Like, okay, I'm going to beat that goal that I did last week, right? I'm going to swim, half a mile longer than I did last week. Things like that. I think it's always important. You don't have to compete with other people if you're not someone that's, really highly competitive. But I also think those sports can be fun, like running. Can get very repetitive, and it can be hard on your body, right? But I think it's also, good for your wellness and well-being, because it is social, and it also can be fun to be somewhat competitive, I think, too. So just find something you enjoy. Find something you enjoy to move your body. And that's just helping you to focus more on your health and the way you feel, right? Because hopefully you will start to feel good when you do that. Maybe if you're someone that's more sedentary right now and you're not used to moving your body a lot, maybe it can be, it may be uncomfortable. It may not feel good. Or maybe you try something new that your body's not used to moving in a different way, and that can be even hard to do too, because it might feel uncomfortable at first. So it can be uncomfortable at first, but after a while, maybe it could be something that you actually start to enjoy. So I just encourage you to find something that you really enjoy. As I said, if you're even someone that's tried running and doesn't like it, that's okay. Try something else that you think you'd rather enjoy, because I'd rather encourage you to do something that you would stick with, that you enjoy, than something that you absolutely hate. Certainly with running too, if you are new to running, I really feel that it does take some time to really enjoy it. So I do want to say that because I have been running for a very long time, but I know when I first started running, I absolutely hated it. So if you are someone that wants to get into running and you're not sure if you're going to like it, I do just want to say, I do encourage you to just keep doing it, keep trying. You might start to like it. You never really know. So that's number one, finding an activity or sport that you enjoy that also can be social. So that also helps your well-being. So that's number one. Number two is focusing on fueling your body with the nutrients and energy it needs. So I really do believe that food is fuel. It really, though, can be more than that because it's important that we enjoy our food too. So I'm going to get into that a little bit more. But when I talk about fueling your body and fueling the nutrients, giving your body the nutrients you need. What I really mean by that is, thinking about food too as your energy source, right? So I always like to use the and gosh, I can't say it. You guys know what I'm trying to say. Analogy. There we go. Analogy of the car and gas. So if a car doesn't have gas, will it go anymore? No, it won't, right? It can't go without gas. So the gas or gasoline, right, is the fuel for your car. Well, what is fuel for our bodies? Will our bodies still be able to go, right? And a lot of you that are runners can understand may be able to understand this a little bit more, right? Because if you're not fueling your body, if you're not putting energy in your body, then you cannot run, you cannot move. But even to just live, right? There is a certain amount of calories that we need for our bodies to keep going, okay? So I want you to understand that. So, really food, is fuel. And also our body needs certain nutrients, right? So our body needs a certain amount of carbohydrates. Our body needs a certain amount of protein, and our body needs a certain amount of fats. And those are all macronutrients, right, which give your body calories, okay? So those all contribute to your calories. So that's why that's important to get all of those in your body, right? And they all have a different function, right? So your carbohydrates give you energy. So I will put this in simple terms when I'm teaching a elementary school class, is what I always tell the kids, right? So I'll put this in very basic terms. So carbohydrates are good for energy. They give you energy to think and play, okay? Number two is your protein. Protein helps build your muscles, okay? Gives you muscles. And then three would be your fats, right? So we want to focus on, we also want to eat more healthy fats. So your fats are important. What are fats important for? Regulating your body temperature. There's a lot of different things that fat's good for. Regulating your body temperature. Is there anything else I can think of at the top of my head? I think that's the main one, is body temperature. But yes, fats are still important, right? And I should probably do a video here on why fats are important. So definitely want to make sure you still get your fats, even though, sometimes we feel like we should need fat. Fat is different than what's on your body, right? The fats that we eat, we do need those fats. So back to what I was saying, right? So there's your macronutrients that you need, and there's your micronutrients you need, right? So I'll break that down a little bit too. So the micronutrients also have all different functions, right? So they're also very important that you get in your diet too, because they all have different functions, right? Calcium and vitamin D, they help keep your bones strong. What else? Iron transports oxygen throughout your blood, right? So there's all different functions of these micronutrients, and that's why they're important. What I can talk about here might be helpful is, does anybody use the nutrition facts label? Or do you know what I'm talking about? Anyone that's on? Okay, that's okay. So the nutrition facts label has been changed recently. So all those macronutrients that I just mentioned are on there, right? And then also there's a few micronutrients on there. So there is calcium, right, that I just mentioned, which helps strengthen your bones, right? Prevents your bones from getting brittle when you get older. So calcium is important. Prevent osteoporosis. And oh, someone does. Okay, so you do use the nutrition facts label. Thank you. Oh, okay. And someone else said about the nutrition facts label that they read them, but now they're not sure they understand them. So, okay. So I should definitely do a video or a lesson on talking about nutrition facts labels. That's a good one. Okay. Let me write that down. But yeah, if you have any questions about using nutrition facts label, definitely reach out to me. But I'll consider that talking more about that. About using nutrition facts label. So the nutrition facts label also has, so it's calcium. They do have vitamin D too, which is good for your bones. And then there's also, they changed it up a little bit. So I'm trying to think. There was vitamin A and vitamin C, but I think they took those off, I believe, because they used to be deficiencies, right? So there's certain nutrients that you could actually be deficient in, but more often than not in the American diet, we're eating an abundance of things. So there's not too many deficiency of things that we see. I think besides iron and calcium are big ones for deficiencies. And, you know, plant-based diet, vitamin B12 would be one. And what else is on the nutrition facts label? I need to have a nutrition facts label in front of me, apparently. Potassium. So they added potassium because potassium helps decrease blood pressure, which is important for people that have high blood pressure, and heart disease is still #1 chronic disease that people die from. So that is also on there now, is potassium. So there's potassium on there too. So as I said, this is why it's important that we're fueling our bodies right? We're putting in the right fuel, because what happens, okay, let's go back to that car, right? What happens if you put the wrong type of gas? So what if I put the more expensive gas? I'm struggling with my words. Help me out here, guys. Right, if you put the wrong type of, there's 3 different types of gas when you go to the pump, right? You don't want to put the gas that only goes in big trucks, right, into your small car, right? So you want to make sure that you put the right gasoline in your car, right? It's the same thing with your body. If you're not putting the right nutrients in, and all these nutrients have functions, right, that help your body, if you're not putting the right amounts in your body, then you're not going to feel good, right? So that's why I want to focus on, you know, wanting to feel good when we're talking about health and striving for health goals is, you know, less on focus on like weight or things like that. Thank you. But focusing on just wanting to feel good, and if you're eating the right amounts of foods and the, you know, more of the right types of foods, that's okay, then that will help you, right, to feel good about your body. And also just changing that mindset, right? I'm big on changing our mindset and being more positive, you know, not just positive in life, but also, you know, for my mental health, but also positive as in, or also changing my mindset is in, you know, understanding that food is for my fuel, and I need the right type of fuel to go in my body to feel good. So I think that's just important to note. And then going back to the other point that I mentioned, why also, why we could also say that food isn't just fuel, right? I think it's important that we understand that food is fuel for our bodies, but it also is so much more than that, right? Because we want to enjoy our food, right? So if you're somebody that's a runner and, really just wants help in performing well, and you're plant-based, you may just eat a lot of protein, a lot of beans, right? Just because you have to get that protein in. And I see a lot of, I actually see bodybuilders do this, and they're more likely me, but they're just eating tons of meat because they know they need the protein, right? Not because they enjoy it, or they just eat their food really, really fast. Well, I think it's also still important, even if you're an athlete, to enjoy your food, right? Because a lot of times I feel like, I think this is general, right? Really, a lot of our, like, okay, let's see, like holidays or celebrations, right? All those things are all surrounded by food, right? For me, a lot of times I feel like that has caused me a lot of anxiety, because of the way I eat now, and it's just so different from everybody else. It can still sometimes brings me some anxiety, but I've gotten better and easier at it, and people have been more accepting and more willing to make sure that, always asking and making sure that I have food for me to eat or have enough to eat, which is, I think, really, which is really nice that, that's also changing a little bit. So it's a little bit easier, and it does help because it doesn't cause as much anxiety. I used to have a lot of anxiety and just feeling like, how hard it was to, like, either say no to foods, because I, also don't really agree always with always saying no to certain foods. And that's why too I'm more of a, not as strict sometimes, as really as a, I wouldn't call myself the strict vegan, even though I would say I am mostly vegan, or mostly plant-based, right? And that's why, I think it's why I'd rather use the term plant-based, is because, I'm not really that strict vegan, because I hate saying no and I hate restricting myself. If I want food, or if it, I feel hungry, then I'm gonna want to eat it, right? So I think it's also important that you enjoy your food, that you're not just eating your food because it's healthy for you, right? Eating it because you enjoy it. So, something that I really enjoy and that I really want to do, and why I created a recipe ebook, is to give you recipes that I hope that are healthy, but that you also enjoy. I really have a lot of passion in that, because I think it's important to eat healthy and that you're feeling your body right, but also, eating foods that you also enjoy. And experimenting and making new foods. And I think that's really, can be really fun. You can be really creative. I know a lot of times I feel like I just get in my little ruts and I get very boring with my food, and I eat the same types of foods over and over. But lately I've actually been trying to be more creative and thinking, maybe even eating this, like, I eat the same types of foods, but how can I make this a little bit different to make it more enjoyable for myself, right? And it's not as boring, it's not the same thing, and not just rice and beans like I eat all the time. So I've been trying to do more of that, right? Being more creative so I can enjoy my food, but I'm also still trying to eat the nutrients and the food that my body needs to fuel it, right? So food is fuel, but also make sure that you're enjoying your food, and take time to enjoy your food. I think that's also important. Is to really just take that time to, be mindful of how you feel when you eat that food, right? If you eat something that doesn't make you feel good, if you really, get in tune to your body and feel your body and realize, man, I didn't feel so good after I ate that, you may not want to eat that all the time, right? So I explain to kids this as that type of food is probably a sometimes food, because it's probably high in sugar, high in fat, right? And I would call that a sometimes food. But I think it's important to not just think, oh, this is something that I shouldn't eat every day, even though I like it, but just get in tune with your body. If it doesn't make you feel good, you're not going to want to do that every day, right? You're not going to want to eat that every day if it doesn't make you feel good. But you won't know that unless you get in tune with your body and be mindful of what you're eating and eat your food slowly and enjoy your food, right? So that was number 2. Okay, so we'll go back. So number 1 was moving your body in ways that you enjoy. And then number 2 is fueling your body with the nutrients and energy that it needs, but also enjoying your food and being mindful what you're eating. So number 3 is eating mostly fruits and vegetables, lean proteins, and complex carbs. So that's number 3. So number 3, to feel good, to help you feel good about your body. If you don't want to do macro counting, if you're, not into counting calories and those kind of things, right? Just focusing on those things. Focus on eating more vegetables, focus on eating more fruits, and don't forget about your fruits. I found that a lot of even my runners that I work with that are vegan, they don't eat a lot of fruits, but fruits do have nutrients that are good for you, right? And it does have natural sugar, which is different from your added sugar, so don't be afraid of the sugar. Use fruit as a dessert, okay? If you're not somebody that really likes fruit or thinks it's too sweet, that kind of thing, still you can still have it as a dessert. And with fruit, there's a lot of nutrients in it, but the big one is vitamin C, right? A lot of those A, B, D, E, not D, E vitamins, right? But those are important, okay? So why are they important? So vitamin C. Vitamin C is important because that helps your immune system, right? So, and I think it's important too because, a lot of our vegetables and our fruits have a lot of those micronutrients, and they have phytonutrients, right? They have all these nutrients in them that are beneficial for our bodies, anti-aging, antioxidants, helps our immune system, helps functions for our body and our cells and our body processes and all these things, right? But they all have different amounts of all these vitamins and minerals, right? So it's important that you eat all these different types, right? All these different kinds. We teach kids all the time about eating the color of the rainbow, right? And it's easy to get stuck in a rut. And I'm even talking to myself, right? Because I do this too. I get stuck in eating the same types of foods and fruits all the time. And there are staples that I have that I eat all the time, right? But I know that it's important that I'm eating different colors and that I should try new fruits, I should try new vegetables and these kind of things and not eat the same ones over and over again because there's different amounts of vitamins and minerals, micronutrients that you're going to get from them. So eating mostly fruits and vegetables, very important. If you can see behind me, right, you might be able to see it right there. That is our MyPlate, right? So the MyPlate, you can see half of that plate is fruits and vegetables. So that is a guideline that replaced the food pyramid, right? And the government, the USDA releases the MyPlate, and the recommendation is to eat half of your plate fruits and vegetables. So that is what you should strive for, is eating half of your plate, and each of your meal should be fruits and vegetables. Lean proteins, and since I'm, plant-based, and I like to promote plant-based, and there are, lean sources of protein that aren't plant-based, but definitely, soy, tempeh, beans, any kinds of beans, right? Lentils are all good sources of lean proteins. And complex carbohydrates, so those are going to be your whole grains, your brown rice, your quinoa, whole wheat bread, right? Whole wheat bagels, those are going to be more of your complex carbohydrates. And for runners, you may do some simple carbs for energy for your runs, for fueling during, but really this is more, general for health on a plant-based diet. What does that look like? What should I focus on? those are what would be your main elements that you'd want to focus on, right? Fruits, vegetables, your grains, your complex carbohydrates, even your starchy vegetables will count as your complex carbohydrates. So that would be like sweet potatoes, and then your protein, like your beans and your tofu and your tempeh. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So really, number 3 is eat more plants. More plants will help you to feel better, because you won't be putting a lot of fat in your body, or the not good fats, I should say. Fats are still important, and possibly less sugar. So hopefully that was helpful. So just to review, if you're just joining, I talked about ways. So I gave you 3 practical tips or ways that you can focus on your health and to help you just focus on the way you feel. So number 1 was moving your body and doing the type of activities that you enjoy. Number 2 was focus fueling your body, right? Fueling your body with healthy, I don't like to say healthy foods, but plant foods, right? But with nutrients and, understanding that your body needs nutrients and energy, but also enjoying those foods, right? And then number 3 was eating more plants. So, excuse me, I hope that was really helpful. I am out of time, but I hope you guys got something out of this. I hope this was helpful for you. If this was helpful to you, just comment below, helpful, and let me know if you have any questions after this video. If any questions come up, feel free to message me. And then, is there anything else? Any announcements going on? I don't think there is anything. I am still taking on clients, so if you are looking to work with me, you can message me and let me know. And I do have a free ebook, so if you are interested and have not signed up for that free ebook, all you need is your email, or I can send you the link to sign up to give me your email and then receive that free ebook. So there's 11 plant-based recipes. So if you are interested in, just, maybe you're somebody that's just going plant-based and you're really not sure where to start or what foods to eat that might still taste good to you, right? You can just download that ebook and use that to get you started. So hopefully this was helpful. Yay, it was super helpful. Awesome. I'm so glad. Good. So that is all I have tonight, and I will talk to you guys all soon. I will be going on next Friday. I may or may not go live this Friday. Sorry for Q&A. It's Labor Day weekend. But I'll let you guys all know. I may cancel my live on Friday, so I may not talk to you guys next week, but I may pop in and see how you guys are doing. Never know. But I hope everyone has a good rest of your week and a good Labor Day weekend, and I'll talk to you guys all soon. Bye.